Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, June 5, 2025. With the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season projected to be above normal, government is working to address gaps identified in the country's disaster response system following last year's impact of Hurricane Beryl. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says while Jamaica was spared the worst, the storm was a lesson on areas of weakness that need to be addressed going forward.
And being at the forefront of the response, I saw the gaps. I saw the potential threats. And what the role of leadership is, it is to ensure that even though you escaped the worst, you don't just sit back and say, it's past. You have to strengthen the institution so that if there were to be a return of the threat, you can genuinely be able to stand up to it.
Government, he says, is building a culture of resilience that is data-driven, locally grounded, and globally informed. This will be aided by the work of the Disaster Risk Management Review Committee that was established after Hurricane Beryl. The committee undertook a comprehensive review of the country's disaster framework, identifying key vulnerabilities and priority areas for reform. The Prime Minister says areas of priority include improving the resilience of the country's utilities, reinforcing adherence to the building codes, especially as it regards roofs, continued expansion of our early warning system, and greater investment in coastal protection. But he stresses that none of this is possible without a stable economy.
That is where it starts. If you don't have an economy, then you're going to be relying on other people to help you recover from your disaster. And I want to say as clearly as I can, what has changed in Jamaica in the last decade is that we are able as a country to stand on our own 2 feet and respond effectively to disasters.
The Prime Minister was speaking at a meeting of the National Disaster Risk Management Council on Wednesday. A 60% chance of an above-normal season is projected for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season, which runs from June 1 to November 30. This includes 13 to 19 named storms, 6 to 10 of them developing into hurricanes, of which 3 to 5 may be major hurricanes. The government has launched a project to revitalize town centers, beginning with Barbican and Halfway Tree. Under what's called the GO initiative, town centers will get a facelift. This is to include the paving and resurfacing of key areas, repairs to sidewalks, installation of safety barriers, road markings and lighting, and beautification and landscaping. Minister with responsibility for works, Robert Morgan, made the announcement in his sectoral debate presentation to Parliament on Tuesday.
I had a conversation with Minister Mackenzie, and one of the things we are going to be doing is partnering with the Fire Brigade and the National Solid Waste Management Authority to ensure periodical cleaning and maintenance of these areas.
In addition to Barbican and Halfway Tree, 10 more town centers, including Ocho Rios, are scheduled for an upgrade this year. Jamaica's parish courts are now officially free from backlog. That's according to the Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck, who was making his sectoral presentation in Parliament Tuesday.
The records, Madam Speaker, show that the backlog in our parish courts has literally disappeared. Today, we have less than 2% backlog. International standards state that once you're below the threshold of 5%, you're considered backlog-free. Madam Speaker, this is a historic achievement.
He went on to say that more than 70% of cases in parish courts are now completed within 12 months. To support ongoing reforms, Minister Chuck says over $180 million is being invested in technology aimed at improving case and staff data management. Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, has issued a strong warning to mining companies that delays in land reclamation will no longer be tolerated. The warning came during the recent Bauxite and Alumina Day event at the Jamaica Bauxite Institute in St. Andrew, held as part of National Minerals Week. Minister Green emphasized that mining companies must now be defined by reclamation, rehabilitation, and revitalization.
The mining areas that have been completed 2 years ago, we expect them to be reclaimed in accordance with the time. I'm also not minded to contemplate any waivers. We have gotten into a habit where we don't reclaim, we don't pay, and we expect the government to waive. I'm happy that all the companies are here. We are not going down that road. You have been warned.
He says the ultimate goal is to restore mined lands to a natural or economically productive state in keeping with national sustainable development efforts.
We are setting back our industry by not sticking to the guidelines that have been set out, especially on redevelopment of our communities, resettlement programs. We have to accelerate the pace. And I'm saying this especially to our local managing directors to communicate to our international partners, as I have already communicated, that these things are now non-negotiable.
In the meantime, Minister Green is urging citizens to use the Mining Matters app to report concerns about mining operations in real time. 8 of Jamaica's 11 members of the Jamaica Conch Cluster, JCC, have received Marine Stewardship Council MSC Chain of Custody certification. The MSC certification guarantees that seafood bearing its blue label originates from a sustainably managed and certified fishery. It also supports long-term economic stability for those in the sector. This achievement follows a major breakthrough last year when the JCC established the world's first and only MSC-certified Queen Conch fishery in Jamaica.
Now this Marine Stewardship Council certification for us is like a golden ticket. It says to the world that we're doing our fisheries in a sustainable manner. So it means that when our Jamaican conch arrives in North America, arrives in Canada, arrives in the UK market, it carries more than just premium quality. It brings with it a story. So we believe that we are now well positioned to claim our share of price premiums that MSC certified seafood commands.
The minister was speaking at the recent closing ceremony for the 2-year JCC project held at the Inter-American Development Bank IDB offices in Kingston. And finally, Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie, says an audit is to be conducted on the remaining standpipes across the island. This, he says, is to ensure that these are being used for their intended purpose and not being commercialized.
And once we have completed those audits, the local authorities will be put in a position to take the necessary steps to reduce the waste that is being generated by those who are using the water and using the water illegally.
Minister McKenzie was addressing a recent groundbreaking ceremony under the Indigent Housing Program in porous Manchester. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.